Oh, yes, that way. Oh, I'm not. I see. That was like. We don't charge for it. So hopefully.
Okay, everyone, come on in, find a seat real quick. We're gonna start in about 30 seconds. Not that I don't like hanging out all night. But I don't really want to hang out. But how can you identify the art students? They're usually good students that sit here in the front row. People. All right, we are at 6:30. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. So let's please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, everyone, welcome to our April 5th, 2025 City Council meeting. Thank you for all actually being here on time, because we have shifted the time from 7 p.m. now to 6:30 p.m. We do have a pretty packed agenda, although it should flow pretty smoothly. I don't think there's anything contentious on the consent agenda, but still, I'll go around and see if there's anything that anyone wants to pull out for regular discussion. We'll start with Councilor Zadi.
No.
Councilor Steininger.
I don't have anything.
Councilor Donlin.
I have nothing.
Councilor Pichelle.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, no.
All right, well, we'll keep consent agenda as is. So the first topic on today's agenda is a public hearing for the 2024-25 supplemental budget. With that, I'm going to go ahead and open up this public hearing. So please bear with me. Welcome to the April 8th, 2025 Hubbard City Council meeting. This meeting is being held in a hybrid format. Actually, this is just our opening script, so I'm going to put that over there. We already opened it. So let's move on to the public hearing though, because this is just opening meeting. So with that, in terms of the public hearing, do we have any script we need to read for that? Oh. Yeah, I don't see it. That one?
Yep.
All right, thank you. Everything by the book. All right, public hearing, supplemental budget for fiscal year 2024-2025, resolution number 8032025. I'm going to go ahead and open a public hearing for the supplemental budget 2024-2025. It is currently 6:32 p.m. And with that, we will hand it over to our budget officers or officer. And I'm assuming it's going to be you, Administrator Wade.
Yes, correct. Thank you, Mayor and Council. In accordance with Oregon budget law, a supplemental budget is required when unforeseen or unanticipated events arise after the adoption of the annual budget. These adjustments ensure alignment between actual revenues and expenditures and maintain legal compliance. The fiscal year 25 budget was adopted in June of 2024. And since that time, several adjustments have been identified that necessitate a supplemental budget. For example, the beginning fund balance adjustments. The city completed its fiscal year 24 audit on December 31st, 2024. As a result, the supplemental budget includes necessary adjustments to the beginning fund balances across various funds to reflect actual audited resources available at the start of fiscal year 25. Additionally, the Community Prosperity Initiative grant, which earlier this fiscal year, the city received through the Marion County Community Prosperity Initiatives process. The initial deposit was into the general fund. However, following a policy decision by City Council, these funds will be transferred to the Street Construction Fund to serve as dedicated funding sources for the sidewalk replacement program. This transfer reflects the city's commitment to infrastructure improvements and ensures the appropriate use of grant dollars. Additionally, in the general fund, we're reallocating capital outlay dollars. Funds were originally budgeted in the general fund under capital outlay for the City Hall window replacement project. While this project is proceeding, the scope has been reduced due to unanticipated cost increases. As a result, $21,800 will be reallocated from capital outlay to the Parks program to address the following. Increased utility costs, in which staff has communicated to council on a monthly basis that the costs are exceeding what was budgeted. And final expenses for upgrades to the splash fountain pump house. This reallocation ensures sufficient expenditure authority within the Parks program for the remainder of fiscal year 25. Additionally, the City Council approved a policy change reallocating funds from the City Hall Security Upgrades Project within the Reserve Fund to support public safety. The supplemental budget moves funds to a materials and services line item to facilitate the purchase of ballistic helmets for the police department, enhancing officer safety and operational readiness. One other adjustment has been made in the sewer fund for $23,000, which is being transferred from contingency to the equipment, maintenance, and supplies category within materials and services. This adjustment covers the replacing of critical failing pumps at the wastewater treatment plant, ensuring continued reliable operation of essential infrastructure. And with that, I will return it back to council for discussion and answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Administrator Ray. So with that, going around the room, we'll start with actually Councilor Michelle online. Do you have any questions or discussion topics?
No, I was looking through it earlier today. It all looks pretty straightforward, so I don't have any questions or anything.
Okay, I heard the trailing end. You kind of faded out a little bit, but I understood. No questions or discussion. Councilor Young.
Yeah, well, it looks pretty straightforward to me. I don't see anything odd or unusual. So no, I don't have any questions at this point in time.
Councilor Steiner.
I don't have any questions either. Thank you.
Councilor Zadi.
No questions at this time, thank you.
Okay, I have no questions either. I do appreciate the budget officer maintaining the integrity of our budget and making sure that it gets cleaned up with all the decisions that we keep making on you. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
With that, I'm going to ask the public, is there any comments or questions from the public that's in attendance or online? Okay, if not, I'm gonna make sure that Ms. Hunt is online. She is a citizen. She is muted, so I'll give her a second if she doesn't have anything to chime in on. Just want to make sure everyone online has the opportunity. If not, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing at 6:37 p.m. on the supplemental budget for 2024-2025 and call for a motion to adopt the resolution.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the resolution.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor of adopting the motion, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm waiting for.
Aye.
Okay, we are unanimous vote on that. Thank you very much. With that out of the way, we can move right along. And I did, Director Vogel, find the script. My bad. It was right in front of me. Banner design presentation. So with this, I'm going to invite the North Marion School art students up to the podium and give us a rundown on what you've provided us. Counselors, you should have something in front of you that has nice little printouts on it. And Counselor Fischel, I'm not sure if you have a copy of this in front of you or not.
Excuse me, Mayor, these are also online on the website where the packets are, so if he could go to there and look at
Wonderful.
the designs.
So Counselor Fischel, if you look up online, you should be able to find it in our packet area. I will hand it over to you all.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Earl Holmgren. I'm a senior and I'm also the art club or NAHS National Art Honor Society president. And this is Luke.
I'm a junior and I'm the vice president of the National Art Honor Society. The designs today are some of our initial designs for the banners for Hubbard.
We've brought 6 designs today. We have all collaborated together. When we first approached us, Ms. Bailey, our teacher, our advisor, she first asked us if we wanted to do it, and we all pretty unanimously were like, yes, please, that would be awesome. Me personally, as a senior, I would love to see my art displayed around the city of Hubbard. I grew up around here. It'd be amazing to just drive by and be like, I made that. And you all have our designs. We're open to any suggestions, even just our first initial mock-ups. So
Okay, so up to us, I gotta say, I loved it when I got to see this when it came in. And your art class has a great history with the city because they're the ones that designed the flag up on the wall as well. They did a fantastic job on that, I think about 8 years or so ago.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So, as you can see right now, we're borrowing banners, or we got some older ones from Woodburn. I love the fact that we were able to share with another city. But being able to have the opportunity to kind of see something designed from our local high school that we can display is fantastic. Now, I'm going to totally bias everyone else's opinions because the one I truly stood out that I really liked was this one down here. That was fantastic. I don't know which one of you guys got to design that one, but I really like that one, except for the fact that we'd have to take the Burger Hut out because we can't advertise one company over another. And you know, so maybe a slight change. I think we're a small city with a big art.
Small town.
Small town, there you go. But other than that, I love the way in that one simple banner you captured Mount Hood, 9090, the hops field, the balloons that float over a couple of times a year. It was just beautifully done, great inspiration. In fact, all of them though, I kind of like them all, but this is the one that stood out the most to me. Out of curiosity, Councilor Steininger, what did you think?
I'm really bad at deciding, so I personally would probably say just make them all. Again, I really like the one, like, I think Mayor said pretty much the same thing I was thinking. It just captures our city so well with the balloon and the hops and everything. I love looking outside in the morning and seeing the balloons floating over town just like that. I was a little concerned having Burger Hut on it. I know it's definitely a staple and I love going there and I think it fits the idea really well. But if we could somehow change that to something else that captures the city. I love the rest of it. I think it's a great. If I have to pick one, I would probably go with that one.
What about you, Councilor Zadi?
I got 2 favorites here. The other one with the star right here, and then the one that you guys also like down in the bottom of the corner. If I had to pick just one, I think I'd go with the bottom one in the corner, just take out the Burger Hut part because you can't advertise. But you could probably put something else in there, maybe a picture of one of the older buildings in the town or something. But I like both those very much, but I think the bottom one stands out only because it has so many different things in it that show what we are here.
What about you, Councilor Conley?
Well, personally, I like I like one on the upper left, the one from the aerial view. You know, it's a beautiful shot. I would have liked to, and we do a lot of farming around here. We're kind of a bedroom plant farming community. So it shows the farmlands, maybe a little bit more city in the foreground, but it's also a really great shot. And again, the one on the bottom left, the mayor likes, it's got a lot of color, brings in a lot of elements, ties it all together. What I was, in the back of mine, I was looking at that Burger Hut Cafe sign and don't we have something painted up on the, next to the pump house there about the park? Or did we take that down? I think,
The park, which park? We have
I'm sorry, that'd be Revenus Park.
Revenus
I
Park?
think we had something posted up there for a while.
I think it's down now. I think
It's down, yeah.
it's kind of an overview of who Mr. Revenus was.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
well, that wasn't the overtake, but anyway, moving on. So yeah, I like the two on the left-hand side there. I like both of those. Those are great. So,
What about you, Councilor Michelle?
I'm actually with you, Mr. Mayor. I like the one, unfortunately, with the Burger Hut sign, we'd have to lose that, but that's a really nice banner.
Excellent. Again, I would agree with basically what all the councilors are saying. I think these are all wonderful, and having to pick one is always so difficult. But I think you kind of hear somewhat of a consensus that we all really like the all-encompassing bottom left, at least, we can all go with that one. I guess my ask, if you can come back with that design, just removing out the Burger Hut, I think we can direct you to then work with our city administration, Administrator Wake, to see what it would take for us to then get the raw file that we need then to send it off to a print shop. So I think for the flag, I had to like send off like a multiple layer thing. It was kind of crazy.
That'll be me.
Okay,
Yeah.
now, Administrator Wade or Director Noble, do we need to vote on that, or is just a consensus nod from the council okay?
I think it's consensus is fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I see a consensus of a nod. This is fantastic. I can't wait to see this actually printed and installed. Hopefully that doesn't break the bank on us, but I mean, it is this type of stuff that starts to bring our city a little bit, even more together, especially with the high school. I appreciate you guys so much for taking the time to do this, to show up to a city council meeting, stand before us, because I know that's intimidating, and being able to speak as well. You guys have all done a fantastic job. And it just goes back to a great teacher to lead you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm feeling like we'd like to aim for the next city council meeting. However, y'all know that we have May Day.
Yep.
So it might be a little tight, but we'll try.
All right.
Why not have big dreams, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shoot big old
Yes.
audacious goals, whatever that term was, right?
Yes, yes.
Other than that, for those participating, you all are art students. I'm assuming you're all going to probably participate in one shape or form in May Day. Good luck. Have fun. I'll probably see you there because I'll be at the audience watching and cheering on a couple of people I know that are participating.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
We're all gonna go for homework.
Good.
So we can participate in the art club. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And with that, we're going to transition over to our next topic, Liberty House presentation, and I will invite Mr. Wolfert.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. I also understand the importance of notes, so I'll try to keep on time here. Thank you all for the honor and opportunity to make this presentation during the Hubbard City Council meeting. My name is Cameron Wolfer. I am the Assistant Deputy Chief Executive Officer of Liberty House Children's Advocacy Center. My colleague, Allison Kelly, is the Liberty House CEO, and so we're grateful for being in front of you today. Cases involving concerns of child abuse and neglect are incredibly tragic and unfortunately pretty widespread in our communities. Within the 2023 federal fiscal year, the Oregon Department of Human Services founded 614 cases for child maltreatment, or neglect in Marion County alone. Liberty House provides children in Marion and Polk counties with medical exams and a chance to talk with adults who are specially trained to interview them and to listen. We offer services such as ongoing trauma-focused therapy for children and adult survivors of childhood abuse, and we also train our communities in child abuse prevention initiatives.
In calendar year 2024, Liberty House served 1,000 children between our clinic and therapy programs and provided prevention education for another 1,500 adults. Because we provide such key services, we are held to high standards by the National Children's Alliance. These standards do not just apply to 24/7 CACs in Oregon, or over the 960 CACs around the country. They also apply to participating agencies in the county's child abuse multidisciplinary teams, professionals like local law enforcement officers, child welfare caseworkers, public educators, doctors, prosecutors, and others participate in these MDTs. We are here tonight to express our deep gratitude for one such participating agency in the Marion County Child Abuse Multidisciplinary Team, Hubbard Police Department. We appreciate working with Hubbard Police Department in 2024 to make sure that all children were safe. Your dedication to the national standards around keeping children safe and your hard work to hold offenders accountable is, in part, why Liberty House was able to demonstrate that it and its partners met the national standards for CACs in 2024. Thanks to your hard work, Liberty House, for the first time in its 25+ years of operation, earned national accreditation in January 2025. Not only that, but the site reviewers made it a point to say that the Marion County MDT was within the top 5 of all MDTs they'd ever observed. We cannot thank you enough, and especially now that we have a campus in Woodburn, we look forward to serving children and families in collaboration with you. Thank you, Hubbard Police Department, for all that you do to keep children.
Mayor, members of the council, thank you for being here. And we're going to make sure we get a photo op. And I just want to say for anybody who might be listening, what we know about abusive experiences or traumatic experiences is that it's never too late to heal. So for anybody who might be listening, reach out and get some help, because that trauma that you might have gone through doesn't have to have the last word. So we're really grateful for Chief Parisi and all the work. He is an outstanding leader, and as a community, you're so lucky to have him. Thank you for having us tonight.
Thank you for coming up and presenting, and I cannot agree more. We are very fortunate to have Chief Parisi on our department.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
It's always great when we have happy events. Thank you so much. Now, and have a safe evening if you're not going to hang around for the rest of the meeting. Bye. Okay, we're going to move on. Next agenda topic is an update of the Urban Renewal District. Do we have Mr. LaGraza?
We do not, Mayor. He is having technical difficulties connecting to the meeting, so I will do my best to lead the presentation.
Okay, then we'll hand it over to you, Administrator White.
Okay, thank you, Mayor and Council. So there are 2 staff memos in your packets. One is addressing kind of the process. The other one is talking about property tax revenue. So I'm going to start with the one discussing the process. So throughout 2024 into fiscal year 25, we have been working on developing an urban renewal district boundary. We developed a technical advisory committee that included a member from the school board, the fire chief, the police chief, public works staff, administration staff, and then members of the community to provide input on what that boundary would be. We have identified kind of a draft boundary. We had shared that previously. We're still refining that. Our next step as far as the process, so there's a very specific process outlined in Oregon law that we have to follow in order to create an urban renewal district. So the next piece of it is to gain as much public input as we can into the district. And so on Wednesday, I apologize, it said Tuesday on the flyer and in this report, it's actually Wednesday, April 16th from 6 to 7. We will be holding an open house here in City Hall to help answer questions from any community members or others that are interested in attending. We'll be talking about different things as far as projects that could come out of the urban renewal district. And then also impacts to the fire district, because they are impacted from property tax being capped, and how we're gonna offset that impact to the fire district. We'll be talking about how there's really no financial impact to the school district because there's other ways that the school is made whole. And then we'll just talk about overall economic development in Hubbard and how this enhances that process. So we'll be talking about that on April 6th, and we'll be really starting to push out advertisement of this open house starting tomorrow. So through April, we'll be collecting feedback. We'll compile the feedback and put it into a report and bring it back to council for consideration. And then we'll gain more information from council as far as, are we heading down the right path for projects? Is that the vision that council is hoping for? And we'll start refining that, the project list and also the plan. So that goes through May, and then we will start the formal adoption process July into August. And that involves some public hearings, additional council discussion, and review of the final draft of the plan. Once that is approved, then we will work with Secretary of State, Department of Revenue, and Marion County Tax Assessor's Office to establish the Urban Renewal Agency that will manage the district. And then we'll also be identifying the board of that agency is going to be City Council. So we'll talk about in more detail in September how that all plays into your role, because it will create an additional meeting that we could do like after a regular scheduled council meeting or before or whatever. I know before doesn't.
Councilor Zadi's never gonna forgive me.
Well, opportunity. And then we will get this built into the proposed budget for fiscal year 27. And beginning July fiscal year 27, it'll be up and running. So that's just kind of a high level overview of where we're at with the district. Does anybody have any questions on that piece of it?
Going around the room, Councilor Zadi, any questions?
None at this time, thank you.
Councilor Steiner?
I believe I heard you say April 6th, but the 16th.
It's 16. Yeah.
Okay, that's
Next
I wanted
week.
to make sure.
Okay, Councilor Yonley?
And it is appropriate for the council to attend?
Yes, as long as there's no discussion.
Right. No decisions being made.
Yeah, we learned that in public meetings long gone.
Yes.
Okay, Councilor Michelle?
I have no questions, but I am looking forward to the open house.
Excellent. This is a lot of work, long time coming. I know council, ever since I've sat on it, we've been talking about putting something like this in place. I wish we could have done it 7 years ago, because then we could see the fruitions of it today. But I'm glad to see the process finally starting to move forward. Looking forward to the open house next week for sure.
Okay.
Are there gonna be cookies?
There will be cookies.
Oh, there you
and
go.
I actually have a coffee pot that works, so. there will be
Promises, promises, okay.
Coffee and water.
It was sort of coffee and water last time.
Well, we have the grounds
Yeah.
and the water.
It's water.
So the second piece of this is the property tax revenue. Our consultant has put together this model. This is an extremely conservative model. I actually think, so it says years 1 through 5 initial revenue would be around 10,000 annually. I think it's, so we are kind of on the cusp of growth. And as that growth happens, our property tax revenue is going to compound very quickly in the urban renewal district. So, while he has some initial numbers here, we both agree that based on some of the discussions that we've had with developers and kind of some communication that's happening regarding the, Bear Creek subdivision, and then the mixed use, ordinance that has just passed and some code amendments, we really feel like the growth of Hubbard could happen sooner, which would then result in the impact of the revenue increasing faster within the district. So this is just really a very, very conservative estimation. This does identify a 30-year model. I would recommend that when council gets to the point where you're making decisions on if it's going to be a 10, 20, 30-year model, I would not go less than 20. Going to 10 years, you're not going to get the revenue stream to be able to pay back any debt service and interest associated with projects. So that's just something to keep in mind. So that's just kind of very high level, very conservative estimate of where we think we might be.
Yeah, I assume it was pretty conservative,
Extremely conservative.
which is great. It's great to have a worst case or
It is worth
expected. And, you know, if you shoot for the stars, then that doesn't happen, then you're setting false expectations as well.
Exactly.
So, questions on that from council?
No question.
Councilor Stanger,
No, I don't have any questions at this time.
Councilor Yano,
No questions, thank you.
Councilor Pichelle.
No questions. Thank you.
That's so slow and methodically. Okay, then let's go ahead and move along. Is that all you have then, Mr. Wade?
Yes, on that topic, yeah.
Wonderful. Next one down is a discussion on the splash fountain hours of operation. Again, we'll hand this over to Administrator Wade.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Council is being asked to provide direction on whether to allow more flexible schedule for managing the splash fountain's operational days and potentially extending its season into early fall. This is a follow-up to a prior informal discussion where council expressed interest in a more efficient, weather-responsive operating model. Currently, the fountain operates on a fixed schedule, seasonal schedule, which does not account for daily weather or usage. And as a result, the fountain sometimes runs on days when weather or community turnout don't justify it, leading to avoidable utility and maintenance costs. Some of the key benefits to a flexible operational schedule include staff's ability or empowerment to temporarily shut off the fountain during poor weather or low use days, cost saving measures by shutting it down when it's not in use would reduce water, energy, and maintenance expenses, and the possibility of extending the season. So what we saw last year was that we reached 100-degree weather the weekend after we shut down the splash fountain. And so we decided to open that back up. So this would provide an option to extend the actual operational season as weather allows. And it minimizes the impact on staff. So we can monitor and adjust the schedule without any significant workload for staff. And it also frees up staff having to contact council. Are we okay extending the season? Are we going to shut it off this day? Those kind of conversations. So staff would recommend proceeding with flexible operations this season. This allows temporary shutdowns on clear non-use days and uses of those savings to potentially extend the season.
Discussion from council. I don't want to chime in first. I'll let everyone else chime in first. So Councilor Sutton.
I don't have any questions at this point. No.
Excellent. Councilor Stein.
I think my only concern would be, I know kids don't see the low likelihood of use as much as adults do. So I would hate for us to turn it off on a day when the kids are coming to use it. Would it be possible to do something sort of like the fire department burn light and just have a recording? People could call in if they're just to see if it's gonna be on or off that day. I don't know if it would be worth it or not.
I would have to look into if our phone system has the capability to do that. We can post something definitely online. That's not an issue. Post something on Facebook, we can do that. We would really truly only shut it down if it's raining, lightning, thunderstorm type event. But yeah, we could absolutely do that.
Maybe, like, I don't know, post a number if somebody's like concerned it might be turned off on a day they're planning on having a party in the park or something, they could just call and let Public Works know that they're planning on being there for an event. Just, I don't know, I just want to make sure that the community has a chance to be informed and also be involved in it, just in case. But otherwise, I think it's a really wise idea to turn it on and off. I think that all makes sense.
Excellent. Counselor Young?
Well, yeah, being more flexible with the weather, is an absolutely, great idea. I know in the past we've had longer seasons and it's been turned off for the residents, longer warmer seasons has been turned off for the residents. This is a good idea, good strategy.
Okay, Counselor Pichelle?
All right, so I hope I don't break up during this. I looked at several other cities in the area and what their schedules are. A lot of them have a similar Memorial Day to Labor Day type of schedule. There are a few that have automatic off features on their fountain. There are some that advertise weather permitting. There are some that open after school's out and go a little later. So I think, giving the city staff a little more flexibility, it would fall in line with what other communities in the area are doing. And it would definitely, I looked at the weather just from last year, and there were 10 days from Memorial Day to Labor Day when it rained, and we could have turned it off, if no one's out there, or if they decided it was not warm enough and rainy. But yeah, then like she said, I'm sorry, Administrator Waite said after Labor Day, it was directly after Labor Day, actually, it got real hot again for about 5 days in a row, and we turned it back on, which I think is great. And I would just like us to be able to do that and not have to think about it and not have to worry about where the money's coming from. So I think it's a wonderful idea to give the staff the flexibility to manage the splash fountain a little more closely.
Excellent. And you didn't break up at all. Nice and clear the whole time. So I'm in complete concurrence. I would suggest maybe that we set a minimum temperature threshold that if we need to breach to have it come on. I think maybe 7 degrees or something like that, because I don't know about you, but 7 degrees is really cold to be running through water. And then maybe a temperature that during like the off season, like has been brought up, like maybe if we breach 75, 80 degrees, we turn it back on. Some sort of a guardrails, if you would, that's what Lisa got using the quality world, that we can just monitor on, that you guys then have some good idea that it's going to be below 70. So we're not going to turn it on because the chances of usage is not going to be there. Definitely on weather events, rain, storms, how often we might actually have those. It makes perfect sense as well. And I do agree with what Councilor Steiner said, and that's why I'm so glad I had you guys go first, is some sort of notification when it's closed. A Facebook post would be great. If our website is able to be updated and current, maybe just a simple banner going across saying splash fountain's open today or splash fountain's closed today. I know that might be difficult though, days that City Hall's closed, especially on the weekend. So anyway, because I can imagine the disappointment, we have it shut down and then there's a party or someone's really hoping to have it turned on. So maybe even an opportunity that.
Mayor Rossesel, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm so sorry. There's no way for me to chime in here without just interrupting. So I noticed the other day when I was at Rivinus Park that there is a large sign posted up, and it talks about the history of the park and where the idea for the splash fountain came from. And it actually does have listed on there that the splash fountain is open from Memorial Day to Labor Day daily from, I think it's got some hours on it. So that we may need to look into modifying that somehow, or maybe putting some kind of secondary sign over on the pump house that, says this fountain's going to be open these days, weather permitting. You know what I mean?
Well, I completely agree with that. I would suggest actually if we could update that part of the sign to update it there. Otherwise, you're gonna have conflicting issues. You're gonna have someone that's gonna say, well, that sign says it's open, that sign says it's closed. I want it open, type of thing. But either way, the only other thing I might request is again, a number for them to call Public Works or city if they have a question about why it was closed or something. Just make it accessible. But at the end of the day, with the cost of energy where it is today, we see it going up with PGE constantly. Anytime that we can save money running those pumps would be great. So do you need a vote from us to allow you to move forward with this? Or again, is consensus good enough? I think you heard consensus that you're good to go.
Consensus is fine.
Okay, consensus is good. Any other discussion on before we move from that topic? All right. Empowering the city to make wise decisions. Next one is going to be an add-on. If you did not already see it, we do have an agenda 6A, appointment of budget committee members. 2 applications have been turned in. One for David Schultz, the other one for Ann Schultz, both long-term residents of the city. I'm going to open it up for discussion, thoughts, any concerns, and we'll start with Councilor Fischel since I've been going the other way the whole time. You probably don't have it in front
Thank
of
you, Mr. I saw the email and I did look at the applications. I don't have it printed in front of me, sadly. I don't have any questions though.
Okay, Councilor Youngman?
Glanced through it, it seems like they've got some significant experience in managing budgets, so I don't have any questions at this point in time.
Okay, Councilor Steininger?
Do we have 2 open positions?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know, I really like both people, so it's not very often we get applications from people that I know, so that's sort of. Yeah.
Okay, Councilor Zani?
I agree with Councilor Young. We both have experience in budgeting. Quite a bit, so good application.
Okay, then I'm gonna make it really simple. I don't have any discussion topics on this. I'm actually excited to see that we'll have a fully appointed budget committee this round. And I encourage anyone listening afterward, please still come to the budget meeting. It is an awesome opportunity to see how the city budget's done. And before you know it, I'll draft you onto the city council, and you'll be like Councilor Zani and be sending me nasty grams about, it was 3 hours of mine. Okay, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion, and I'm gonna try to break this up properly. That we can appoint Ann Schultz to the budget committee for the term current through December 31st, 2026, and appoint David Schultz to the budget committee for the current position through December 31st, 2027.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the votes are unanimous. And just FYI, the only reason I did it that way was I just took the positions and lined them up. No other logic behind which term they got appointed to. All right, that was the add-on. Moving on further. Other agency report outs. In this case, this is where we allow Chief Carmen to go before everyone so he can log off and have some of this evening. So Chief Carmen, we'll hand it over to you.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me all right?
We can hear you great.
Awesome. So just reporting out on the month of March for us, we had 63 calls for service. How that relates to 2024, we had 62 calls. So one more than this month than in March of last year. We're currently sitting at 33 staff members, 27 volunteers, 2 cadets, and 4 career firefighters. We did approximately 204 hours of training, and then a big push with the public education and outreach. And that was, a lot of it was geared towards the upcoming levy and educating the public on that, as well as we do finally have our new website pushed out. The security clearances are all taken care of. So I would encourage you guys to go check that out when you get a chance.
Sounds like you guys are running on a call now.
Yes, Mayor, they are.
Sounds very local.
And then through Representative Rick Lewis, we put a request into legislation for a firefighter protective gear funding request, just to help take off some of the pressure from our annual budget, as well as having to keep our asks to the taxpayers low as possible. That's a $225,000 ask to legislation. I anticipate that we won't hear back for at least another month or two, maybe. One last thing I'll talk about, then I'll get off. We had our awards banquet a couple weeks ago. James Patterson received Firefighter of the Year. The Officer of the Year was Riley Hamilton. And then Rookie of the Year was Taryn Monahan. So really proud of the guys here and the work that they do every day, from fighting fires and going on medical calls to the training that they do and the public education and outreach. We're doing more public education and outreach than we've done in at least the past 19 years that I've been with the district. So I'm really proud with where the direction is headed of the fire district, and I'm excited to see where it goes in the future. Do you guys have any questions?
Councilor Zani, any questions?
Not at this time, thank you.
Councilor Steiner?
My only question is there a place we can pick up the signs for the levy? I've been seeing them pop up around town.
Yeah, you can come down to the fire station. If you want to call me or shoot me a text message, I can arrange a time for you to pick one up.
Great, thank you.
Councilor Young?
No questions, thank you.
Councilor Pichelle?
No questions. Thank you, Chief.
Excellent. Well, Chief, thank you again for everything you are doing. Your department's absolutely fantastic. Love the community engagement, and I appreciate you continuing to come to the city council to provide updates so we stay informed as well. And crossing my fingers for your levy.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we'll move on to the next agenda topic, parents of interested citizens, although I think we're gonna rename that eventually, like interested parties or something like that. So with that, Vicky, or Director Nogel, has those that are gonna present here. She'll call you up, I believe.
Would you like me to go ahead and read the statement?
Sure, go ahead, please do.
Okay. This is an opportunity for members of the public to inform the council about their views. The council will not be entering into a dialogue during this time. However, the city administrator may direct staff to follow up with you regarding your comment or questions. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. I currently have someone online, Kim Hunt, who has signed up to speak in this section.
Hi, I am actually speaking with my parents about a lot in Hubbard. I'm not sure I don't think that this is the same place or the same spot.
Yes.
Yep, you're in the right spot. Yep, your parents are actually in the audience as well.
Oh.
And actually do have the packets that they've delivered. So actually.
Fantastic. I'm gonna let them go first then. And I'll hop on to I'll tail end to them if that's okay. Thank you for letting me join from my home. I've been sick and I don't want to get anybody else sick. So
I do appreciate that greatly. So if you're son, come on up. You'll each get 3 minutes. So.
All right. Hi, I'm speaking on behalf of my husband and I, Rachel Carla Hunt. We moved to Hubbard in 1991, and so we have been longtime Hubbard residents. This past year we retired and are trying to figure out what a home might look like for us as we consider our desire to kind of age in place. And we want to age in the place of Hubbard, not Woodburn Senior Estates or anyplace else. We love our community. We raised 3 children here. And so in January, we live on 5th Street down at the end of town. A lot came, or a home came available that we've actually known the folks that live there for quite a long time. And so we moved forward and put in an offer to purchase that property with the understanding that we wouldn't live in the home that is on there. The home that is on there is, it's old, was built, I think, in 1889 or 1901. I've seen both numbers. It's unkept, it's in poor condition. And our hope was that we would be able to purchase that property, remove the home, and then partition the property and build 2 small homes on the lot. One for us and one for our daughter Kim, who you'll hear from in just a moment. We were very lucky in that we used our local realtor, Gina Aldrich, who's also here. And she was able to help us to secure the property. We took a look, we've talked to civil engineers, we've talked to plans and architects, and we've done a lot of our homework. We were aware that the current code requires a 7,000 square foot lot for construction of a primary residence. But we also could see that throughout Hubbard, and I think that's what you'll see in your packet, is there are many, many homes, and I mean many, many homes that are not on a 7,000 square foot lot. We've talked with Vicki Noble and with Holly Bryman about that, and have been given information that there's a process that go through for partitioning that requires that it would be a major variance, and so it really is quite a lot of footwork and financial work in order to get that approved. And so we come to you today to say we have this lot, or we have this property, we have a good plan, we've done our research. There are benefits to the city as well in that 2 homes on 2 separate lots provides higher property taxes. It's consistent with the buildings, the homes and the neighborhoods where we are present. It's consistent with other size lots within the city of Hubbard. And it would also provide additional utility fees for a second lot to be developed. So for us, we feel like not only is it a win for us, but it's also a win for the city of Hubbard and for our neighbors who have all been very, very vocal that they really would prefer to see 2 homes on that lot rather than a duplex or a triplex, which is kind of how the property was advertised as potential building. So we're just coming to you and saying, hey, this makes a lot of sense, and we hope that you would consider helping us and working through the process in a way that isn't expensive and allows us to do the thing that will be best really for everyone.
Thank you, Mrs. Sutton. Now we'll hand it over to Kim.
Hi, yes. Thank you so much. So, like my mom said, I grew up in Hubbard. We moved there when I was 5. My parents they've built onto their house. It's our home community. I currently live in Salem. I work for Northwest Senior and Disability Services. And as I've grown in my role at Northwest Senior and Disability Services, I've seen the importance of having community and having family around a support as you age. And I love my parents. We have a great relationship. I would love to be somewhere, and right next door is very convenient to be able to provide that support as they age, while also maintaining privacy for both of us. And I don't want to say we wouldn't move forward if we couldn't have our own partitioned lots, but I'm appealing to you as someone who would probably not like to share a wall with their parents in their home. Just once again for that privacy aspect. But this is, for me, it's also, I would be moving into my forever home. My parents mentioned that they are looking to build a home that's an age in place. That's something for me too. Hubbard is my home community. I would love to build a home and grow and live to retirement and beyond in Hubbard. So this is something that like my mom said, financially benefits Hubbard in property taxes, and benefits for our family like a lot as well. We're both planning on building 2-bedroom homes. My hope is in the future that I could potentially be a foster parent for a child in the North Marion community that might be in need as well. So really wanting to build in and dig into that North Marion community, into the Hubbard community, and build roots there. So we appreciate any time and thought you have for this.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak?
I didn't sign up, but can I speak?
Go ahead.
Tina Aldridge, 2207 B Street, Hubbard. Mayor Rostafil and council members, I'm speaking on behalf of Rich and Carla Hunt and the property that they recently purchased at 3035 5th Street in Hubbard, Canyon Reed. Rich and Carla are longtime residents of Hubbard, which they mentioned. They've been in the same house and neighborhood for decades. They've raised their children in the same neighborhood and now are watching their grandchildren be raised in the Hubbard community. They purchased this property that is in disrepair, and quite honestly, they paid more for the property than many would have because of the desire to improve the property while at the same time keeping their family together in the same city block of Hubbard. Their desire is to build 2 small homes on the same property to maintain continuity to the neighborhood without bringing obtrusive townhomes or duplexes that don't necessarily fit into the schedule of the area. The desire is to fit 2 homes within the same footprint as other homes in Hubbard. With their proposal, the city of Hubbard would receive tax revenue from 2 separate dwellings and during the build process receive respective SDC fees. I would support that the city of Hubbard find a way to work with the Hunts to make this a reality. And I'm not sure if this is the right avenue or if I know that there's an appeal process, which Ms. Hunt did allude to is quite expensive. And I think they're just concerned if they go down that road and they spend a lot of money on it, what is the outcome going to be? So if those decisions are already made up front, that makes it difficult to continue with that process initially. And this may all need to go before planning commission. I'm not sure what that direction is. But thank you.
Thank you, Gina. Any other public comment? Okay, what I would ask to the Hunts is please continue to work with Administrator Wade, Director Noble. Work through the process. Obviously, there is going to be a process still we have to follow, but working with our administration, especially Administrator Wade, we'll see what we can do. I can't make any promises because they have to follow the processes because of concerns of setting a precedent that then could be set later. But at the same time, I like what you guys are trying to do. Personally, I agree with what Mrs. Aldridge said, and that is, it's a nice layout. It's a nice change to that corner of the city. That's all I can pretty much say on that one, because you're right, we would be an appeal if something at the planning commission went a different way. But what I would ask is please just work with Administrator Wade, Director Noble. You'll find they're going to be friendly. And of course, you know where I live, so knock on my door if you ever run into something that you just want to sit on my porch and chat with me about. Does that work? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So I think if we sit down and just kind of go through some options and let's kind of do the checklist before any applications filled out. You can sit down with Director Noggle and I, and we can go through and figure out what options, whether, we don't know if rezoning is an option or just kind of look at other footprints and go through your data and figure something out. So let's get something scheduled where we can meet in person and start hashing this out.
Give you a call tomorrow.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
very technical term.
No, I'm not really supposed to speak, but I wanted to make sure I wanted to speak to that. I know. Then again, hopefully you'll just continue coming to our meetings too, so you guys will sit back there. Mrs. Aldridge used to always attend, but now that Mr. Aldridge isn't on council, she never shows up.
I did invite him to come.
Excellent. Any other interested citizens want to speak? Mrs. Button?
No, I live right behind the property that they bought.
There you go.
Thank you. So I'm good.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Let's go ahead and move on, to the mayor and or council presentations. Real quick, for those that on council did attend the training session, on public meetings, if you got your certificate, please, I believe, send it into the city hall so they can keep a record that we did attend. I think it's checked off elsewhere as well, but I know I got my certificate and just forwarded it on. Yeah, check your junk mail. If you have not received it and you did attend the training, contact the person who is running it because, yeah, you should have already gotten a confirmation, a certificate, and even a survey, I think, at this point in time. So if you haven't gotten any of those,
I know you have the certificate, I'm not.
then there you go. At least you got the certificate. You got one out of three.
There was a survey, but I don't think it had to do with the training,
Yeah, I think it came to me like almost right after, pretty quick.
but I don't think, but was it on the training or was it just?
I didn't take the survey.
Oh,
I just received it.
I got a training, I got a survey that had to do with gathering.
So again, if you have your quote unquote, I love they use the term evidence everywhere. If you have your evidence that you took the class, please send it in. And just a reminder, if you haven't taken the class, please take it. I'm not sure if everyone's had a chance to take it. Counselor Pichelle, I don't think I saw you on it, but I don't know. I wasn't like browsing.
I was there live.
Oh, so you actually attended. All right. Yeah, it was an
I
interactive
did.
team. You couldn't ditch it. Okay, I know we also do have one additional training class coming up, I believe. Superintendent Oliver sent it out for a FEMA training.
Is that a requirement or is that a?
I believe it's a requirement. I've heard it's a long one that might be broken up too. Yeah, they're making us public officials take a lot of classes now. The good news is though, if you are like PMP certified or need professional development credits, these are great ways to get them. So that's just for my side. Just make sure you get your training done. Once it's done for your term, which means if you're a mayor, you get to repeat them all over in 2 years. But other than that, everyone else is good for 4, so you're good on that. The only other thing, we did, you saw last week, I believe, in Administrator Waite's report out that we did have a North Marion tourism event down at the Tulip Festival. It was fantastic. Can't be more proud that our city is helping lead that effort and seeing what can be done. They had their really cool tourism kiosk thing there too, that we got to get to the hot festival somehow and find a way to plug it in, even if it's an extension cord to my house, I don't care. But it's cool. Thing looks like it's going to survive a nuclear apocalypse, but it is, a neat interactive thing that really highlights, the different things you could do around the community. What's really fantastic and what I was hearing while I was down there was just the excitement in the local businesses all really getting together to start to promote what this area has to offer. So that's pretty much all I've got. We'll go around. Counselor Pichelle, do you have anything you want to mention or comment?
I don't have anything. Thank you, Mayor.
Congratulations attending in person. That was a long drive down, if you went. Counselor Gunley.
I've, the chief of police there, congratulations on your award. However, just some things around town. I noticed there was a couple places tagged at the back of the Tropola, and then there's a fence further down. I don't know what we can, and have the property owners paint those over or something like that. Administrator Wade, chief, offline, once the meeting's over, I'd like to kind of run something else by you guys. And that's all I have.
Okay, Counselor Steiner.
I don't think I have anything to say. Thank you.
Counselor Zadi.
No, I just wanted to congratulate the chief and the fire and the police department and good luck with the fire department on their levy.
There you go. Then we'll move right along. See, we're gonna maybe get out of here by 8, so we'll hand it off on to their next agenda topic, and we'll go back over to Administrator Wade for the report out.
Okay, thank you, Mayor and Council. I'll start with financial updates included in your packet are 3 financial documents for your review. You have your month-over-month report, your burn rate report, and then an issue tracker that talks a little bit about different financial issues and things I'm working on. These provide a snapshot of the city's current financial health, spending trends, and pending issues requiring attention. Overall, revenue projections are coming in on budget, except for a few grants in the police department. No offense. Congratulations on your award. Please note, those grants are based on overtime worked in areas such as seatbelt and speed enforcement. While officers always, enforce those activities, these are based specifically on overtime and giving staffing levels. We haven't been working overtime in those areas specific for grant reimbursement, so I wouldn't anticipate that. Expenditures are increasing significantly, and you'll notice most of them are in the water, construction, and ARPA funds, and this is a result of the static water pressure project that's underway. Allocations, there's also an update that I made for allocations in our financial system for salary and benefit costs. And so there was some fluctuation that you will see between February and March to correct those issues. And then additionally, there was a large jump in the police department operational supplies. And that was for an annual payment for body worn cameras. So that's why there was that spike. But overall, our financials are on track. I still believe that we're gonna come in within our budget by the end of the fiscal year. So any questions on financials at this point?
For me, no, I appreciate your quick responses to my inquiries earlier on those red agenda items, and you've mentioned them here, so thank you on that as well, from both the overtime and the operational things. Those are the ones that stood out to me. You've already answered them. You also answered on the revenue sources, explaining why some might be lower still from what the budgeted ones, and hopefully next month will be better when things start to come in. So generally speaking, I just appreciate your attention to detail and your quick response and be able to answer questions when presented to you. So no questions from me. We'll start with Councilor Zadi. Any questions?
No questions at this time.
Councilor Steiner?
I was just, a couple of things popped out when I was going through. One was the city council budget. It looks like we're coming in way under budgeted. I was wondering if we could do like maybe like a staff appreciation dinner or something with that budgeted money, if we have the money. It would be nice to do something as a thank you for everybody and all the hard work that's been going into this. If we have the access, I don't know if there's stuff coming up that I'm not aware of, but I was just thinking maybe something fun and appreciative that we could do might be a worthwhile expense because everybody does deserve it.
So we do have public employee appreciation week coming up. So that could be something that we can take a look at planning, and that way it falls within laws.
That would be really cool. I was just thinking like, because I know obviously we don't want to take money that we don't need and waste it, but it's always important to remember to take time to show appreciation. And if our council budget has room for that, I think it would be worthwhile use of it. The other one I noticed is we're behind on using the funds for the security updates. And I would really like to see that prioritized. I think I noticed in the public works, and I'm going to bring it up that point that it's been put as we're too busy item. So that's something that I think is really important. So I would just like to make sure that we're maybe taking a second look, making sure that is prioritized. Those are the only two things really caught my attention when I was going through the budget. Otherwise, I appreciate all the hard work to keep everything on track. I know it's not easy keeping all these numbers as close to where they're supposed to be as they are. Thank you.
Okay, Councilor Youngman?
No questions right now. Thank you.
Councilor Michelle?
I would like to piggyback on what Councilor Steiner said. I think it's a great idea for the excess council funds to be used to recognize and reward the city staff. I think that especially for myself and Councilor Zadi, who are newer, don't know as many of the city staff members as everybody else, it would be great to kind of have a little event or something to where we could all get together and, you know, celebrate the good work we're doing and, you know, kind of get to know each other a little bit better. Beyond that, no, nothing. Just thank you, Administrator Waite, for all your exemplary work as always.
Excellent, and I don't have anything else to add. I just concur with what's being said. Administrator Wait, anything else, but then before we move on to the police report, do you have
Yeah.
additional? Okay.
Yeah,
I don't, there's a lot more written.
There's more. So as you'll see in my report, I applied for a couple grants. As I hear the status on that, I'll keep you posted. The one specific for the stage through the T-Mobile Hometown Grant. And that's a very quick turnaround time, so I should be hearing something about that this month. So I will keep council informed. There is a budget training that I'm scheduling for April 30th at 6 p.m. A sample PowerPoint was presented to council. I don't know. Chris probably doesn't have it, right?
No, but it is online
Okay.
on where the packets are.
So I'll be updating that with fiscal year 26 information and have all the budget committee members attend. And if council is interested in attending as well, you're more than welcome to attend. You don't have to if you're comfortable with the budget process. But I will send out an invite. I wanted to also update you on the public safety communications discussion. So we've had a little bit of discussion about the Marion County Radio Project and then also Metcom and the rate increases that they proposed. Council asked staff to continue to research options. I was hoping to have more of a report out for the meeting tonight. I still have some pending meetings with Metcom and also Office of Emergency Management. And so once those meetings conclude, I will be able to bring additional information to council. I don't know if I will have a full report in May, but I will report back what I have collected at that point at our May meeting. So still a lot of unknowns on that one. Also, starting July 2025, City Hall will be open on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. On Fridays, there are calls that come in and community members that have needed some sort of city services and were not available. I'm made aware of this. The chief and I are usually here on Fridays. And so I believe by changing our office hours and being open from 8 a.m. to noon, that provides some additional time for our community members to receive services. The current staffing level does support being able to open and still provide the opportunity for staff to maintain 3-day weekends, 4-day work week. So that will be moving forward. And then I wanted to talk to council about providing direction on launching a pilot program for electronic council packets. So staff is proposing a pilot or test period for iPads or Chromebooks among 1 or 2 council members and a couple of staff members to evaluate efficiency and usability. The city's IT support contractor has equipment that we are able to use for free during the pilot program. And we believe that there will be long-term savings as far as the time Director Doggle spends on making copies and putting the packets together and just paper and ink and all of that. We believe that there would be long-term savings. So I'm looking at consensus from council if this is something they're interested in moving forward on.
Yeah, so this is something I've talked with Administrator Wade for a while now on as well. How do we reduce waste? How do we reduce the packet sizes? Is there a better way to do it? I know it doesn't seem like much, but any time you see a color print, you're talking probably 20 cents a page, sometimes in ink. It gets really, really expensive. And if it's a laser ink printer, it's even more expensive. So the time, the cost, Vicky's time, Director Noel's time, actually doing this, and of course, even the officer's time to drive around and drop off the packets. Now, As Administrator Wade said, we have access to some equipment for us to trial it on. TBD on what's this trial period. I don't know if it's going to be 6 months or however long they let us borrow the equipment to see if it's working or what type of frustrations are going to be called out. Now, I've already proposed to Administrator Wade that we would have the Steininger as the council president and myself be the pilot test dummies. So we'd be the ones up here trying to deal with the technology side. And then 2 individuals from staff, I'm assuming administrator would probably be one and would probably, what might we think? I don't know. We'll see where you guys decide on that. But the idea is to see how it's working. And if we feel it's working, we can get away from doing these copies, these printing, these running arounds, then council can decide whether they want to move forward with something like that, purchase the equipment. So all of the councilors would be outfitted with it, basically. This isn't something that the councilor gets to keep. Obviously, it's city property. It's like your work laptop. It would just be handed in. The other benefit, of course, we have is any notes you might be taking, anything on the system, can then be given over if there's an ethics complaint or an investigation that's required, which knock on wood, we shall never have. But with that, as you heard, Administrator Wade is looking for consensus for us to move forward, at least on this pilot, because it will take staff time to get these things up and running. Is there any concern with us trying this? I'm seeing a nod of, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
do it. Absolutely. I'm in favor of that. It doesn't take me long to get huge stacks of,
Yes.
and I end up throwing them out in like recycling and waste.
There's a lot of ways. I've got 4 or 5 banker boxes of 7 years of papers at home.
I saved a lot of that from earlier years, but this go around,
I still keep them. I'm bad.
Not to mention explaining to the neighbors why the police stopped in the house.
Yeah, that did freak out our exchange student who was wondering why the police were knocking at the door. Counselor Zadi, any concerns?
I'm actually gonna miss the police visit. I really like our police. Well, yeah, I think it's a great way. I think there's a lot of favor, and I do agree. Business, I know what it costs for color, and I think it's bad that we bring them so away, so.
Yep, Counselor Pichelle, any concerns from you?
No concerns, although I did have a nice chat with Sergeant Anderson the other day when he stopped by. But I'm anti-paper. Sorry to anybody who works in the paper industry.
Well, the mills are all shut down in Oregon City now, so. No, it was great actually seeing Anderson out and about delivering them last time, so. Okay, then I think you have consensus, Administrator Wade, for us to move forward on that.
Okay, thank you.
Are we ready to move on then to police department yet?
Yes.
All right, before we move on though, any last minute questions? I won't call by name. Michelle, if you have a question, just raise your hand.
Got a quick one real quick.
Go ahead,
I
Counselor.
was just wondering, Administrator Wade, when you were saying it's moving forward with the stage pretty quick, do you think we'll have it by the hot days?
I'm hoping,
Wow, that's great. Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
We gotta get awarded first, but if we do get awarded, we're notified, like mid to late April, I already have one identified that will be here by the end of May.
Great
So,
news.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Chris, before we move on, I know you're online though. Any other questions, concerns? Okay, then let's move on to the police department. Hand it over to Chief Parisi.
All right, good evening, Mayor, Council, members of the community. Thank you very much. So I just wanted to start off, just give an update with Officer Montez. His training's progressing very well. He just completed his phase 2 of field training. He was with Officer Marshall, and he's now transitioning to phase 3. Actually, today is his first day into phase 3 of training and whatnot. So he's going to be with Sergeant Anderson and myself. So we're going to help out and share all the information that's been shared with us over our careers and help develop them. So it was exciting. Just last week, we were actually able to get Officer Montez into a week-long detective academy that's sponsored through the Oregon Homicide Investigators Association, which is a really great resource. I wish I would have been able to go through something like that early on in my career, and will really help with fine-tuning investigations and interviews and things of that nature too. So also we were able to get Officer Montez into a 40-hour training class involving crisis intervention training, through CIT. And it's going to help really equip him with some really specialized skills that are needed to effectively respond to individuals that are experiencing mental health crisis and all that good stuff. So it's an intensive program that really emphasizes de-escalation techniques, understanding mental health conditions, and also learning how to engage with individuals in a compassionate, safe, and professional manner. The training will also enhance his ability to assess and respond to a variety of different mental health situations, and preventing unnecessary escalation as well, which can often lead to tragic situations. And it will also has equipped him with a bunch of different resources, and just becoming, introducing him to those and him becoming familiar with those, so that he can also leverage those when he responds to folks that are in need within our community as well and whatnot. So this will be a tremendous asset overall to our communities that we serve and our department and whatnot too. So that's exciting. As far as hiring goes, very excited to report that our newest hire will be coming on in May 1st. I believe. I just need to confirm those dates with Director Noble and whatnot, but that's a date that seems to work pretty well for the applicant and his wife, who just recently delivered their first child. So that was exciting. A little baby girl, baby Elena. So, but he's coming to us from a neighboring agency, and he actually sought us out. This neighboring agency was a much larger agency, if you will, that this person worked at, and they really wanted to be closer to home, and they wanted to serve a smaller community and work within a small community. So we're really excited to have them. That's going to be Officer Corey Yakis in May. So that'll be exciting. We also have another applicant who is certified already as a police officer, and that's in background right now with us as well. So we'll keep you posted on that as that progresses. And this is also an applicant who works for an agency in the state, a long ways away, and they actually live here in Woodburn, and so they want to relocate back to home. They went to school at North Marion and graduated from there, and they just want to serve locally and get back to closer to family and whatnot. So we'll keep you posted on that as well. In closing, just want to say thank you all for your kind words and recognition as we as a department were honored this evening by Liberty House, and really just give a huge shout out to Liberty House. They are an amazing partner that we couldn't do what we do without their unwavering support and partnership. And their resources that they have and expertise is so invaluable to protecting our most vulnerable. And really together, working with them, we're really building a stronger and safer community and whatnot too. So just wanted to say thank you on behalf of the department and all the officers that really put in the hard work on these investigations in tandem with Liberty House professionals as well and whatnot. So thank you.
Well, Chief Parisi, I must say, the fact that you have people lining up to come and apply is a testament to good leadership. The department's come a very long way in the last 8 years. And it's fantastic to see individuals knocking on the door asking, hey, they would like to come and serve here. Also, again, congratulations on the award. It's great when we have the opportunity to see recognition coming in, especially for the department. So fantastic job. From comments, we'll start with Councilor Zani.
Yeah. First off, Chief, congratulations again on your award tonight. That was excellent to see. I'd also like to commend you on sending the officer to the CIT training. Mental health issues with citizens and the police have been in the news quite a bit lately. And I think it's great that you went ahead and not only protecting the citizens of our town, but protecting the town also. So thank you. Good thing.
Councilor Stein.
I just want to thank you for your open door policy. I know I appreciate the opportunity to come and just sit down and talk to you. I don't doubt that you open that up to pretty much anybody that wants to, and I appreciate that about you. And congratulations again on the reward, but we've talked about pretty much everything else, so thank you.
Counselor Young?
No extra comments here at this point in time, but to piggyback on, yes, thank you very much for all that you do for the city. I've heard a number of good things about you out there from the community members. That's always good feedback. And once again, congratulations on that award.
Counselor Michelle?
No questions, but thank you, Chief, for everything you do. Everyone I come across in your department has been nothing but professional, friendly. They do a great job, so very happy with the police department.
Excellent. If there's no other additional questions, we'll move on. Thank you, Chief. Next will be Director Noble, Administrative Department.
Mayor and Council, I would like to give a big shout out to the administrative staff, Julie Hedden and Lincoln Holstad, for their hard work with continued monitoring of delinquent utility counts and working with community members. The city had another historic moment of zero shut-offs. Way to go.
To chime in on that. I remember 7 years ago, getting a call from Woodburn Independent wanting to dig into shut-offs and everything else. And they had no story there, and now it's even better, right? The zero shut-offs. That's fascinating. It really is.
You may have also noticed the change in the minutes format, starting with March 11th meeting minutes. There's a brief description of the discussion topic and any motions or consensus notations. Each agenda topic is a link to the portion of the agenda topic, and that takes the reader to a specific section on the video recording of the city council meeting. Public hearing topics will have more detailed written minutes in that section. Please let staff know if you like the new format to the minutes, or if you'd like to change the format. So a lot of other communities are going to this style of minutes, and so we thought we'd jump on the bandwagon and start doing that too. It's instead of verbatim long minutes that take forever to write.
And it also limits liability for the city, because we're not having staff interpret what somebody's saying when they're paraphrasing something.
No, I think it's fantastic, and I love the fact that you can link to the discussion topic on a recorded video. I think it brings transparency to a completely new level, to the point where it's just not go read the minutes. You can read the minutes, jump to a part of the presentation, and you're going to be there, or even just the presentation itself. So you don't have to dig through a very big packet to try to figure out what page is it on under 300.
Right.
No, fantastic. At least my opinion. Any other, before we move on from that topic, any other thoughts? I'm not going to call names. Just raise your hand if you got something. Okay, good. Hand it back over to you.
Okay. Land use planning. At the April 15th Planning Commission meeting, will be reviewing an extension request for the Bear Creek subdivision, as well as conduct a public hearing on the legislative amendment 2025-01, which is a package of amendments to the Hubbard Development Code in compliance with recent state legislation referred to housing bills. This was discussion items, the last two joint city council planning commission meetings. So that's moving forward now at this, starting with this planning commission meeting. The next topic is the training, which I have listed several of those. And if you don't mind, you may have heard this before, but I'm just gonna read the description that I have here. The main purpose of City County Insurance Services best practices is to ensure the cities effectively manage insurance needs, mitigate risk, and protect public resources by adopting proven strategies and standards. Best practices help cities proactively identify and address potential risks such as property damage, liability claims, and cyber threats, which can lead to significant financial losses. In 2020, the risk assessment got off track, but it is now scheduled to be reviewed annually. When new training is available on specific topics, council and/or staff will receive training notification from CIS Learning Center. Specific training for specific positions and or training review will be happening with all staff members, which we have already started. And then I listed some of the courses that have already started and has been distributed and people have been taking.
Are these classes available to council or committee members as
Like
well?
those, like ones that best practices are saying that, all employees should be taking these. If council is interested in those, I can also send them to you, but they're not required.
Okay, I'm just mentioning it as an elected official, some of these topics are really good. Understanding unconscious bias is a great one. Cybersecurity risk is a good one, so I don't get calls anymore about me wanting people to go buy Apple cards. It happens. It's simple little things like that. I think for anyone that's dealing with incoming mail or whatever is really good. I'm assuming some of these are pretty simple classes to take, probably not too extensive. But no, these are all really good, I think, at the end of the day. I think if you could just forward the opportunity for elected officials or even appointed officials to take them, it'd be fantastic. Just don't require them, but they're all good classes.
Okay, sure. I would be more than happy to do that. And I'm gonna reiterate what you said about the required classes that you guys have already taken, the certificates. Be sure to get those back into me because they may require me to submit them when during the SEI statement of economic, when I have to submit the notification that I sent out to you and all that. They may require me to turn in those certificates too. So. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going here. Don't forget about any newsletter topics and the deadlines I have listed on my report. I'm gonna jump into payroll. Some of you also may know this, so it might be a refresher. SAFE, State Accident Insurance Fund, is Oregon's workers' compensation insurance company. SAFE annually performs a payroll audit, which is a review of the employer's business operations, workers' duties, and payroll records to ensure accurate payroll reporting and that the correct workers' compensation premiums are paid. I'm waiting for a response on additional information that I submitted after the audit was performed to see if there's going to be a difference in what they originally came up with. Crossing my fingers that we're going to receive some kind of a credit, but it'll be a while before I, receive that information. The building permits, staff continues to receive land use planning inquiries. However, no permits have been submitted at this time. Municipal court, we were able to secure different court dates starting in May to alleviate foot traffic during the first part of the month. We will continue to monitor and will adjust as needed. The judge did allow us, Violations Bureau, to set up diversion agreements for those individuals who qualify and fix-it tickets for failure to register prior to court date, which has already helped with reducing time in the courtroom. Admin staff are constantly looking at ways to streamline and make processes more effective. Municipal court citations and revenues were up in the month of March as noted in my graphs. And that is it, unless you have any questions.
No questions for me. I appreciate, believe it or not, the municipal court graphs. It's great to see what months we're not really in Donald or maybe give me tickets. But other than that, no, it's fantastic to read that. And again, I think it's a wise use of time and efficiency for what you're doing for the court in terms of diversion programs, et cetera. Saves us on time for paying the judge while she's here. It allows us to interact even more with the public and allows them not to feel as if they have to stand before a judge, which could be very intimidating as well. It's a win-win, I think, in many ways. Those are my thoughts. I'll go around though and ask real quick, Councilor Zadi.
I just want to say the zero shutoffs was fantastic. I think it's great. And just kind of looking through there, I think one of the art pictures there was a big heart in the city that cares, or something like that. And it really proves that with the work you guys do. Thank you very much.
Okay, Councilor Steiner.
Yeah, no, I appreciate everything. Thank you.
Councilor Young.
Thank you. That's it.
Councilor Michelle.
Yeah, I just thought it may be worth putting in e-news a little blurb about the change to the splash fountain scheduling.
I would agree I'm assuming we'll put a notification in that printed letter, or will it go in the what's often in?
It'll go both.
Okay, just a nice reminder probably, especially when it gets warmer, people will probably start looking for the fountain to be on. Okay, if there's no other questions, we'll move on to Public Works, and I think Administrator White, are you gonna cover it, or are we just going to?
She's not online, is she?
No.
No. Okay, so, Superintendent Oliger is excused from tonight, so I'll just do a couple of highlights. So, the water project, as I stated before, is continuing. Work is a little bit behind. They're still working on G Street. They will be moving to C Street from 7th to 5th Street, within the next week, we hope. I do want to clarify, that the repaving isn't going to happen until the project is all done. So we've received a lot of questions about, well, the work's done, why isn't the paving done? Part of that, we're waiting to make sure that there's no leaks and no issues, but it's also less expensive to bring all that equipment in because we're gonna have some very large equipment coming in to resurface those areas. So it's cheaper for the project to do that all at once. So that's gonna happen probably in the next couple of months once we finish all the piping work. So just wanted to clarify that. I know that we get continual questions about the tennis court / pickleball court. Next week, the weather looks like it's going to be looking up, and so hopefully that ground will dry out quickly. And then we can get through the Easter egg hunt and then hopefully get the contractor on board and start working. Once they resurface the area, it takes about a month for it to cure. So, we're on the contractor about the high priority of this project, so definitely paying attention to that. We did reformat and kind of take some things out of the dashboard to hopefully make it a little clearer. I did identify some areas that are actually red because they're pending, they haven't had time to work on them. I'm working with the superintendent to follow up on those projects and make sure that they stay on track, or at least get back on track. So that's all I have from Public Works at this point.
The only question I might have real quick, is there a way, if and when we update the website, to enable some sort of an Excel web services to publish the dashboard from Public Works actually on the site? If someone's interested, they can go in and dig and see what projects are live, where they are, and the status of them.
So the dashboard is published out there in a PDF.
Right. So at least it's there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the website.
Yeah. Well, it's there, that's great. It's just sometimes just having it pop right up in front of you is great too.
Yeah, and that's part of the issue, even for me trying to find the update on the projects. That was tough, so.
Yeah. Well, I know our website isn't the greatest. When I have to go look for minutes or attachments, it does take me a while to dig through. And it's because I keep forgetting that I'm always on the future meetings
Right.
and not the past meetings, and
Right.
it drives me absolutely crazy. Besides that, I do appreciate you doing the report out. Yes, I know I'm also one of the hounders on the tennis court side, only because I get people pinging me that they want to play pickleball, and they keep hearing pickleball's coming, so where is it? So thank you for that. And I know we've ran up now against the egg hunt that is now on the books as well, so we obviously don't want to tear the ground up during that. So it makes perfect sense. So, Councilor Zadi, any questions?
No questions at the time. Thank you.
Councilor Steiner?
My only question, is I've been walking around, I've seen, some of the sidewalks have also been removed and they're replaced with blacktop. Is that gonna be fixed as well when they repave the road, or will it be blacktop spots?
No, so that was a safety concern, so that'll be addressed later.
Okay.
Good question, though. Yeah. Councilor Young?
No real questions at this time. I'm just kind of, once we get the pickleball court set up, and there will be residents living right near the courts, and something we might want to look at is sound mitigation. I see they have these big hanging pads on the fencing around and things like that. So something to think about in the future.
Okay, Councilor Pichelle.
No questions. Thank you.
Okay, no questions. We'll close that entire agenda topic out, move on to consent agenda. With this, I'll go ahead and read the titles and we'll go through this quick. So consent agenda, topic A, approve the city council meeting minutes, February 11th, 2025 and March 11th, 2025. B, approval of the March 2025 check register report. And C, accept and authorize City Administrator Sean Wake to execute the notice of award and contract documents for the dewatering system improvements project to Wardinger Excavating Inc. in the amount of $711,487. Didn't get that name right.
Wording.
Oh, okay. Close enough.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Here we go. The consent agenda passes. The next topic then would be adjournment.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed say nay. Okay, we are officially adjourned. Thank you all for coming to the April meeting.